Everybody remember to feel your feels. I recorded a little earlier. It was darker earlier, imagine that. And, the day has progressed on. The sun has decided to show itself and all of these things. But everybody take time and remember to feel your feels, because when you don't, you force them down on the inside and you only explode. You only explode. Thank you guys for showing up and coming and speaking with me and seeing me in this chaos corner. Y'all can tell my camera's a little different right now, and I just had to get this out though. Remember to feel your feels, because I was a child and a teenager and an adult who did not emotionally deal with their feelings. And because of that, I have a very hard time, even still now, even still working through things. I have a hard time feeling my feels. And I want to feel them. At this point in my life, I want to feel them. But it's the hardest thing to be vulnerable and then let out the emotion that comes with it. My friends always laugh and always remind me that, girl, you bipolar. Like, you get a whole diagnosis for it, okay? And I am. I'm a diagnosed bipolar, with more stuff and PTSD on top of it. But that is probably the least of why I don't feel my feels. But it is probably compound because I did not feel my feels. I didn't go through the emotional spaces and states in which I really needed to go through. I really needed to have a powwow person, to have somebody I could trust to speak to feel my feels, to have my feelings validated. And because that wasn't my perspective of the world, it is so hard. It is so hard to be an adult with children who feel they feels 100% of the time and not be triggered in the little girl in me, because that wasn't my option always. I wasn't always emotionally validated, not just as a child, but I became a teenager and I wasn't emotionally validated through the friends and the education and the things. And then I became an adult. And as an adult, I was harder on myself than I could have ever allowed anyone else to be to me. I did the most outside, inside, cerebral damage on myself for the last 19 years of being an adult than probably anyone else could have ever done. Because everything anybody ever told me from childhood that wasn't good about me, I compounded it and I made it a fact. I couldn't accomplish this because I'm not smart anyway. I didn't get through this because I wasn't good enough anyway. I didn't get as high as I could have in this career because I didn't deserve it anyway. Because I'm not as smart as this sibling or this friend or this, outside coworker. I didn't deserve it as much. Doing the work was what I'm supposed to do. Going through pain is what I was supposed to do. Because I was emotionally unstable. Because that's what it is when you don't feel your feels. I think people who use their emotions to abuse people is a different form of being emotionally unstable. But I think in my mind, it kind of equals the same thing, because you're using it to abuse because you feel that way yourself. The context, hurt people hurt people. I just wasn't an external, I didn't externally hurt people. I pulled it all internally and beat myself to death with it. And my daughter, I'm holding together, but she just came in the room because she was online with a little online in a kid work zone, and her friend said to their mom, "You're not a good mom anyway, and I just wish I had another person." And she was in shambles. She was just like, "Mom, I don't want to be that person's friend anymore. I would never want a person like that to be around me." And that shit triggered me so bad on the inside because I never thought that before. Not until I had my kids. I never thought that I would separate myself. I was never emotionally secure enough to say, "Hey, I don't feel safe in this environment. Um, I don't even want to be friends with them." And my daughter's so emotionally secure. My son is so emotionally secure. They come in and they're like, "Well, no, I don't want this. No, mommy, that's not appropriate. And if they're not going to be appropriate to their mom, I don't want to be that kind of kid's friend." And I'm just learning what they know at school age, elementary school age, at 30 plus. I'm just learning that I deserve better relationships because I give and I show and I feel safe in knowing that that is only the right thing. That's why I always say, guys, when I'm having these conversations, this FaceTime is real for me with you guys because I'm not preaching. I'm trying to teach and learn. I'm trying to share information because none of this is easy. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're a single mom and you're da 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 da." That shit ain't easy. It ain't easy to have a two-parent household. It's not easy to not understand yourself and raise children. Oh, God, is it you? In my ear right now. Like, yep, keep speaking. Ringing, ringing, ring. Um, None of this is easy. All the friendships I have, I worked my ass off to maintain those and to make them. I've put myself in the most vulnerable spaces I've ever experienced in this life to have them. I um I know that none of this is simple. When we say things, our, our words are simple because there's a word with a long meaning to it. And to get through the sentence, we can just say these short words. But if we know the meaning to it, if we understand the gist of these messages and every word that comes into some of these sentences, I think more people will see it's not as easy as we see it, visual, right? Not friendships, not any of those things. None of this is easy though. None of it. Being a parent's not easy. Being a human is not easy no matter how much people make it look like that. Getting on this camera, doing all of this, I know many people get on there and say, "Hey, if you want to be a podcaster, if you want to, vlog, if you want to, damn, be on the radio for all I care, do anything in communications, just drop your first one." It's not about making the video and or the backlash of how people feel. It's about being able to have the energy to stay consistent with something that doesn't always feed you emotionally, financially. It's about having the consistency on the inside to even feel good enough about yourself to want to keep doing this. Yes, there are people with 180 videos, but if you sit them down and say, "What happened? How did those days look?" And they say, "Well, right before the girl came to fix my makeup and I shot that episode, my dude broke up with me. I found out he was stealing my money. And yeah, that's the situation." And I pulled it together and shot this video. They just say, oh, just do it. It's simple. It's easy. No. Everything ain't for everybody, first and foremost, and people need to really learn and understand that. Secondly, if you're not willing to get on here on your bad days, when your emotions ain't right, when you ain't got the energy in your own heart to feel special about you, you won't have the consistency. Consistency isn't just a word of committing the same thing over and over. People are consistent in running their mouth, but they sit outside under a shade tree and do that shit every single day by themselves. And to whoever listens, is a lot of things you can be consistent in procrastinating. You can be consistent in throwing yourself away. You can be consistent in anything. So it's not just about being consistent. It's about knowing your value and the value in why you're doing the thing that you want to be consistent in. I love being an esthetician. This Saturday coming up, it'll be 5 years. It'll be 5 years since I started my first business being an esthetician. I have failed. I have thrived. I have had great clients. I have had people who have shitted on every single thing that I gave up and wanted to do about it. I have had people say, you would never be good at this. You're too old. I don't understand. You're not pretty enough. Your skin isn't perfect enough. How could you be an esthetician? I love my craft. I'm good at what I do. And when I learn something, I learn it because I want it. Being an esthetician makes me happy. Does it stand in the way sometimes of being a great mom? Yes, because work does that. You understand? That's just work. But I love making people feel better about themselves in the way that I can. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I can't fix people from the inside out, but I can be the old kitchen titian. You come lay on my table to get your lashes done, and now you done talk through your boyfriend problems. You come lay on my table to get a little skin tightening because you may have a show for something, and now you've worked through your insecurity about the way you look and how good you're going to feel at that show. It makes my heart happy. But in those times when I feel the worst and I feel the most worthless and like my business isn't where I really wanted to be after 5 years, and the fact that in moving from one state to another, I lost $5,000 worth of product. I lost another $6,000 worth of equipment. And it took me years to save that money and build up my confidence to even try this. I still have the feeling on the inside like, no, I'm good enough. I may not emotionally know what I'm doing. I may want to cry. But no, I love this. I love this thing. I'm good enough. I can do this. I can make this happen. And I do it. And people don't see that from the outside. Everybody's just like, oh, girl, yay, it's another anniversary party. They want to pop the bottles with you. But they don't know every year I try and do something for the homeless for my anniversary. And every year something goes wrong. And how that makes me feel. So now I do have to pop a bottle and do this because now I'm trying to just do anything. They don't know that that's the feeling. They just see me. I'm so glad and it's exciting because I still get to celebrate myself and different things. Skin Tell Soul Tell means everything to me. It is my third child. It's my third child. And when I have to sell it, because that's what I want to do. I want to get it to be big enough to where I can sell. And when I mean sell, I'm never going to give it all up, but enough of the equity I can sell to make more money on it. That's what I want to do. I want to grow this thing to be the best thing I could ever experience, and so that other people want a piece of it just like raising a child. I wanted to go in this world and become bigger than me, better than me, and I won't hold it down. But Skin Tell Soul Tell is my life. Skin Tell Soul Tell presents this chaos corner segment that I am going to continue, because that piece is just me putting myself out. But Skin Tell Soul Tell is what I do. I manage my relationships from my soul. The tales that I can tell from my soul, the things that have affected my soul and the person who I am on the inside. I live for that. I love to hear people's stories. I love to help them understand, like, that wasn't really you. That was God walking you through this journey. And sometimes that's what we got to see. I truly believe it only takes one person to see you and help you change. You may need a group to maintain it, which is the village, but all it takes is one. It only takes one. Because when they see you and they show you that somebody out there can see you, you never stop believing that you could be seen. Because you've had the proof. The proof is in the pudding, as they say. You've had the proof because one person saw you. And that one person will beat out 100,000 people seeing you in a negative light sometimes. But I'm going to wrap this up because my emotions are taking over on me today. But I just want everybody to remember, use your critical thinking skills. Use your critical thinking skills for as long as we have them to use, okay? And also, see yourself. Believe in you. Even on the dark days, even when it's hard, even when you triggered, stop, feel your real feels, and see yourself. Even if it's in a negative light, the only way you can help yourself is if you see what's triggering you, what's bringing you to that negative space, because that then will show you a lot of things about how to help yourself, even if that means getting somebody else in to help you. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll FaceTime with y'all soon.